Mr. Powell, whenever you are ready, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Doctor. Please introduce yourself to the juries and spell your name.
My name is Dr. Robert Pfalzgraf. My last name is spelled Pfalzgraf.
What is your occupation, Doctor?
I'm Deputy Chief Medical Examiner in Duval, District 4, which includes 3 counties,
What county?
including Duval, Nassau, and Clay.
How long have you worked for the District 4 Medical Examiner's office?
I've been there since March of 2017.
What is your educational and training background that allows you to hold your position as a medical examiner?
Well, I'll start with undergraduate school. I went to Wittenberg University in Springfield, Ohio, and received a bachelor's degree in chemistry, and that was in 1980. I then went to medical school at the Ohio State University School of Medicine and graduated with a medical degree in 1984. And then from 84 to 88, I did a residency in general pathology. And then from 88 to 89, I did a specialized training in forensic pathology. And that then from basically July of 1989 until today, I've been fully employed as a forensic pathologist.
Are you all, excuse me, are you also required to maintain a certain amount of continuing education?
Yes.
And how much, how often, et cetera?
I have to submit proof of continuing education every 2 years, and I believe it's about 50 hours.
Are you a member of any organizations?
Yes, I'm a member of the American Academy of Forensic Sciences. Actually, I'm a fellow. I'm also a member of the Florida Association of Medical Examiners and a fellow of the National Association of Medical Examiners.
Have you testified before in your capacity as a medical examiner?
Yes,
Approximately how many times?
hundreds of times. I've lost count.
All right, Doctor, what is pathology?
Pathology is the specialty of medicine that studies the science of diseases. They're usually the doctors in hospitals that look at biopsies or cytology, like if you submit a fluid, or pathologists also run the laboratories.
What is forensic pathology?
Forensic pathology takes the knowledge and principles of medicine, applies those to the field of law.
Doctor, what are your duties as a medical examiner?
Well, my duties basically are on all cases that are human beings. We get things besides human beings, by the way. We issue a death certificate on every single person that we examine. Now, a lot of the people that we examine, we do full autopsies, meaning we do an external and an internal exam. On a smaller percentage, we just look at the outside of the body.
And explain further what an autopsy is and how you perform an autopsy on a human being.
Well, first of all, we take what we know before we start the autopsy to sort of get an idea what we're looking for. Sometimes we have a little bit of information, sometimes we have a lot. And then what we do is we look at the external aspect of the body and document diseases and or injuries that might be present on the outside. And then we open the body in such a way that they can still have an open casket funeral. We remove organs and examine the organs for diseases and injuries.
Approximately how many autopsies have you performed in your career?
I'd say over 10,000.
You approximate how many of those autopsies involve gunshot wounds?
Probably thousands. It's common.
All right, Doctor, were you asked to review a report of an autopsy performed on December 5th, 2022 on an individual by the name of Prine Holland?
Yes.
Did you perform that autopsy?
Not personally, no.
Who did?
Dr. Sandra Siller.
She with the medical examiner's office anymore?
No, she left about well, she left in around beginning of August of 2024.
Doctor, what did you review of that autopsy in order to testify here today?
I examined the information that's in the file that has to do with the death, which is an investigative file, a autopsy report, but then, and diagrams that Dr. Siller had prepared. But I also looked at the pictures. All of the injuries have pictures, and both the external and internal injuries have pictures.
Based on your review of those documents, were you able to form your own opinions as to manner and cause of death for Prince Holland?
Yes,
Were you also able to form your own opinions as to the wounds that were observed on Mr. Holland?
yes,
All right, so first off, did you observe any gunshot wounds?
yes.
Approximately how many did you observe?
There were two that were definitely gunshot wounds. There were two that Dr. Siller thought were, or three more that she thought were gunshot wounds. And they probably are, but they look like they're just shrapnel because they cause defects in the skin but never stayed inside. They probably went in and bounced off. So there were, she describes three more, but there's only two that are of any significance. And then there's a lot of little tiny defects from probably fragments of metal from the bullet and or surrounding environment.
In your opinion, doctor, were any of those gunshot wounds that you confirmed, would they have been fatal?
Yes.
And how many did you determine would have been fatal independently?
There was one that's unsurvivable, no matter what you do. And then there's one that's fatal, probably. But I can imagine in some worlds where you get immediate surgical care, that person may survive, but it would have serious deficiency or handicaps after that.
So referring to the first one that you stated would have definitely been fatal, just describe where that one was located.
It was really close to where the left ear hole. We call it the external auditory meatus, but it's basically in the helix of the ear. So it's near the opening to your left, to his left ear, and that's where it went in. It then, I go on and describe the pathway.
Yes, sir.
I then saw the pictures of that, and then I saw that it went, probably went in through where the eardrum and everything else is, but it tunneled through basically went through the base of the skull, tearing up the bone. And when it did that, it went through the brainstem. Now, the brainstem is made up of different parts, but the brainstem controls your breathing, your heartbeat, and many other things that you need to stay alive. So it went through the brainstem, and then it continued through the bone and came out just in front of the right ear. So it went in the left ear, came out just in front of the right ear, and destroyed the brainstem on its way through. So that's the unsurvivable wound.
Explain for the jury why you determined that that would have been unsurvivable.
Well, because the brainstem, we learn in medical school, you can't injure the brainstem and survive. Your heart stops, your breathing stops, everything you need to support life, and it happens pretty quickly. We rarely see people with brainstem injuries that go on to, I've never seen it, go to the hospital and survive. So the brainstem is basically the center of all your autonomic nervous system. And that's what we're taught in medical school, and that's what I've seen throughout my career.
In regard to that second wound that you observed that would have, I think as you put it, probably have been fatal, describe where that one was located.
That one went into, it looked like a graze wound, except when you really cleaned up the wound, you could see that it not only went through the skin like a graze wound, but it went through the bone, and there was actually, it went deep enough to perforate the underlying dura mater, so there was actually brain tissue coming out of that wound. That part of the brain is important for motor skills and some other things. The brain would swell from that if you hadn't had the other wound, so that might have been survivable if the neurosurgeons got the body in time, or the patient in time to do things. But the brainstem, there's no way that body's going to make it to the neurosurgeon.
And doctor, what do the terms cause and manner of death mean in your field?
It's a medical term. All our death certificates, whether it's a natural death or whatever, we put a cause of death on there so that when it goes to the Bureau of Vital Statistics, the state of Florida has statistics that say what the population is dying from. So that's how we know that there's a lot of people dying of, for instance, fentanyl. So we know how many people have died from gunshot wounds because they're all recorded. However, manner of death is defined by the state of Florida as only 4 choices, and 1 choice if you don't know. But it could be natural, which is the most common. It could be suicide, it could be accident, and it could be homicide. And these are medical definitions, meaning, we have our definition. What we do in our office may help somebody else, like an attorney, but it's not our purpose. Our purpose is to get it to the Bureau of Vital Statistics so they can categorize it properly. Then all those data go probably to the CDC so that we have national statistics. So it's really a statistical tool. And I assume I'm always asked to come to talk about this in front of the jury so they can learn and make their own interpretation.
Based on your review of the autopsy, did you form your own opinion as to the manner and cause of death for Prince Holland?
Yes.
And are those opinions to a reasonable degree of medical certainty?
Yes. Yes.
And so what was your opinion, or what is your opinion regarding the cause of death for Prince Holland?
The cause of death is gunshot wound of head with perforation of brainstem.
What is your opinion regarding the manner of death for Prince Holland?
Homicide.
One moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any cross-examination on behalf of Defendant Johnson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, any cross-examination on behalf of Defendant Garard?
No, Your Honor.
All right, doctor, you can step down. Thank you.